bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu sah viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Hari Om. So we are into the 6th month or 41st day of Vedanta Shravana Sadhana Yagna. We are looking into this beautiful text called Vivekachoodamani, the crest jewel of discrimination or distinguishing between who am I and what is not I. The purpose of all our sadhana is to arrive at this point where I know that there is something else called the reality, the truth other than what I see, and to know what it is, and to learn to distinguish between the truth, the self, and the not self, to stay away from whatever is not the self, and to abide in the self. These are the 3 things that we need to do, and Vivekachoodamani helps us in that direction. This is the 347th verse. Parakaraikatva vivekavahnihi dahatya vidya gahanam hyashesham kim syat punasam saranasya bijam advaita bhavam samupeyusho asya. Para avara ekatva viveka vahnihi. Para means the highest, and the lower, avara, not the highest. Ekatva, both are brought together. Para is that subject, avara is the object. Whatever we see and we experience, they are both one, subject and the object. Ekatva, when we realize that they are one, that becomes a fire. That understanding, that knowledge becomes a fire. Vahnihi, dahati, this knowledge, this fire, dahati, avidya, gahanam. It destroys, gahanam hi ashesham. It destroys the deep ignorance completely. Ashesham means without leaving a little bit of avidya. For example, when a dark room has been lit by a light, after the light, a light which is capable of giving light to the whole room, there is no pocket of darkness. Once the light has been switched on, the whole room becomes bright. In the same way, when this knowledge of the self, knowledge of reality dawns on the individual, that knowledge completely destroys the darkness of I am this body, I am this mind, and I am this intellect. The darkness in understanding. Ashesha, it is completely gone. Once this darkness is gone and there is brightness in understanding moment to moment, what happens? Kim syat punaha. After that, samsaranasya bijam, that the seed of samsara, the seed of rebirth is gone. It is burnt away. Why is the seed of rebirth burnt away? What is the seed of rebirth? The seed of rebirth is I don't know who I am. I think I am this body. I think I am this mind. I think I am the intellect. And there is some other self. There is some other divine. And I am not divine. All these are the seed of ignorance it is burnt. And what happens to that individual? Advaita bhavam samupeyushaha asya. Advaita bhavam. That person experiences that state of oneness, realizes that state of oneness. I am that self, which is the cause for which this whole universe is existing. I am that self for the experience of which this body exists, this mind exists, this intellect exists. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Atmanastu kamaya, for the love of the self, everything exists in this universe. And that understanding of the self is important. It is not the physical body. Then we will enter into many, many wrong actions when we think that this universe exists for me, this body. No, this universe exists for the self, the Atman, or the I thought, which is filled with consciousness, which is nothing but consciousness. Avaranasya nivrittir bhavatihi samyak padartha darshanatah mithya jnana vinashas tad vikshepa jani dukkha nivrittihi. The next verse, 348th verse. Samyak pada artha darshanatah. Once we experience the pada means the I thought, the word I, the name I that I call myself. When I say Sharanya, I am referring to this person called Sharanya. So when I say I am coming, I am referring to this person. That is the pada. Pada means the word. Artha means what is the meaning of that word. When I experience the word and its meaning as one without any difference, darshanataha, when I observe that, what happens? Avaranasya nivrittihi bhavati. The avarana or the veiling, what is the veiling? I am this body. That thought is the veil. That thought veil, it goes away. Nivrittihi bhavati. When does it go away? Samyak. Very clearly, when I understand the meaning of the word and the word and its meaning. The word I and its true meaning as consciousness. When I am understanding that, and after seeing that, after observing that, after contemplating on that, after meditating on that, when I get up from meditation, I get up with a full awareness of who am I. At that time, this avarana, it just stops. Nivritti means it does not show up in my consciousness. This body thought is a thought that arises in my consciousness and makes me think about the body. When I am fully established in that consciousness, this body thought does not arise. Nivritti means it just drops down and it does not come up after that. It does not arise in my consciousness. Mithya jnana vinashaha tad vikshepa janita dukkha nivrittihi. When this body thought does not arise, mithya jnana vinashaha. What happens? This false knowledge that I am the body, I am the mind, and I am the intellect is destroyed. When this body thought is there, it supports this false knowledge because the body thought is very strong. This false knowledge is taking shelter in the body thought. The false knowledge that I am the subject and this is the object. The object is different from the subject. Object means sense perceptions. What I see, what I hear, what I taste, what I smell, what I touch. Because the body thought is there, the 5 sense perceptions, they gain a lot of power by this body thought. Now when the body thought does not arise, the body is there, but the thought of the body does not arise. This mithya jnana, this false knowledge of sense perceptions, vinashaha, it gets destroyed. Tad, then after this sense perceptions, the false knowledge is not there, the vikshepa or the agitations that it causes. Wow, I want to get that, what I see. I want to eat that, what I love to taste. These agitations also go away. Then, when these agitations go away, tat janita dukkha nivrittihi. When these agitations are there, if I get the objects for which my mind is agitating, I experience joy temporarily, and when that object is consumed, again the agitation, the seeds of those agitations are there. It makes me work towards those objects. So that is also causing me sorrow. Even if the object gives me joy, there is sorrow because it is not permanent, and so I keep craving for it all the time. And when it is compulsorily, when that object I don't like is coming to me, it is permanently giving me sorrow. And these agitations also are gone, and the joy and sorrow, the dukkha or the sorrow which these agitations give rise in me also goes away. So the purpose of Vedanta, one of the purpose of Vedanta is dukkha nivritti. So I don't have sorrow at all, because why don't I have sorrow? Because I have seen the truth within. What is the truth? Pada Artha Darshana. I have experienced the I. Who am I? The Pada, the name, the true word I, and the true person that the I refers to. I have experienced that. True person means it's a beautiful being. That being, which is consciousness, is present within me, and that consciousness has been with me throughout, guiding me, supporting me, but I have not looked into it at all. I have always engaged with the world. I have thought that the cars and the two-wheelers and the beautiful dresses and the beautiful foods and the hotels that I get, all these things are giving me joy. I wrongly think, but there is a beautiful being inside. That being is nothing but consciousness in the form of I. That being is there, supporting my every move, looking at my every sight, hearing the every sound that I hear, registering all the experiences that I go through, good and bad. The I that supports me, consoles me. I don't know, I have not seen that I. Now, when I look through the vision of Vedanta, I am able to see that I by segregating the pada, the name I, and the artha, the meaning of that I, the true meaning, which means life, consciousness, is a true meaning of that I. When I see that, the avarana, the I thought, I am the body thought, nivrittihi, that thought doesn't arise. Because the thought arises only, we are moving into action. Now that thought does not arise, nivrittihi bhavati. Then what happens? Mithya jnana, the false knowledge of I am different from everything that I see in this world. Vinashaha, that thought also is destroyed. And then the agitation of the mind is destroyed. When the agitation is destroyed, all sorrows born out of those agitations, the cravings and the disappointments, the anger, the hatred, the jealousy, everything is destroyed after that. Nivrittihi. Oh, sorry. I have left some Samyak Vive. Sorry, I'm not left anything. I thought I've left. Avaranasya Nivrittihi Bhavati. Now, these verses from 349 to 353 talks about it falsifies the cause and the effect. Something is caused, something is the effect, then the effect produces the cause, and the cause produces the effect. We look at things in a circle. So it falsifies the whole thing. Etat tritayam drishtam samyak rajjusvarupa vijnanat tasmat vastu satatvam tasmad vastu satatvam jnatavyam bandhamuktaye vidusham. Bandhamuktaye vidusha. The learned person, the Vidusha, one who has learned the Vedas and one who has listened to the words of the Vedanta, which points to the self within. If he wants freedom from bondage, bandha, jnatavyam, he has to know. What has he to know? Etat tritayam drishtam. These three things are observed in the rope. What are the three things? What is observed in a rope? I'm seeing the rope in the darkness. What are the three things that I see? We can even take this as a rope. Suppose this rope, this wire is there lying down in the darkness, and in the darkness I perceive, maybe it's shaking in the wind, I perceive this wire as a movement of a snake, if it is moving like this. Okay, and so what are the three things that are seen? The first thing that is seen is ignorance of the rope is seen. I am not aware of the rope, and I am aware that I don't see the rope. That is the first thing that is seen. And when I am aware, I am not actually aware. That is a problem. I am not aware that I don't see the rope. I am not aware of the reality. That is a problem. Okay. The first knowledge is the veiling or ignorance of the rope. The rope is veiled. The rope is veiled by the common thought which is prevalent, which is the snake. So that snake thought veils the rope thought. The second is projection of a snake in its place. The snake is projected on this, which is actually a rope. It has got no movement. It is an inert object. But when this inert object is moved because of some other reason, I think it is a snake. First, I don't know it is a rope. Second, I think it is a snake. And third, I have the fear thought that it is a snake and it is a black snake, it is a thin snake, it is a poisonous snake, it is going to bite me and I'm going to die. All these thoughts come because of this. So the ignorance thought is the first thought. The snake thought is the second thought, and the third thought is fear thought. Etat tritayam drishtam samyak rajju swarupa vijnanat. When I clearly see the nature of the rope, all the three becomes very evident to me. What is all the three? I did not see it is a rope. I saw it is a snake. And because of that, I got fear for my life from the snake. These three thoughts. These three are always there. When one sees a snake in a rope, the rope has not been seen. The snake has been seen. The fear is also observed. Tasmad vastu satatvam jnatavyam. This is an example. I have not seen the self is one, and I see the body, mind and intellect as the self is a second, and because I see body, mind and intellect as I, and suffering from fear, anger, hatred, jealousy, ego, greed, pride, all these qualities are there. Only in the case of the snake, there's only fear. But in the case of seeing the body, the intellect and the mind as a self, as I, all these qualities are generated in me. And because of that, I go through a lot of suffering. Tasmad vastu satatvam jnatavyam. Therefore, the real essence of the vastu, the object or the subject, that is the self, should be known. Ayognya yogadi vasat samanvayan matradi rupena vijrumbhate dhihi Tatkaryametad dvitayam yato mrisha drishtam brahmasvapna manoratheshu tato vikaraha prakritiraham mukha dehavasana vishayascha sarve kshanenyatha bhavitaya hyamisham asatvamatma tu kadapi nanyatha. Ayaha agnihi yogadiva sat samanvayat. This sat or truth manifests in this world like how the iron ball which is being heated in fire, how they manifest together. The iron ball is round in shape, it is black in color or gray in color, and it is cold to touch. But when it is put in fire, the fire appears round and the iron ball appears in the color of fire. The iron ball which is cold seems to be hot, and the fire which is of the nature of heat, the fire which has no form appears round like the iron ball. Ayaha Agni Yogad Iva. Here the fire is consciousness and the iron ball is the body. Sat Samanvayat. We must experience the truth in this manner. Samanvayat. Matradi Rupena Vijrumbhate Dhihi. The intellect, which is like that iron ball, takes the light of consciousness and shines bright. The intellect is inert, the intellect is dull, but it appears bright because of the light of consciousness. Consciousness does not have any sense of knowing something or the other. Consciousness just is light. But because of the intellect, like the iron ball, which is round in shape, the qualities of the intellect appear as the qualities of consciousness. This is mutual superimposition. These two, the effects of the intellect, are observed to be unreal. What are the effects of the intellect? Sattva guna, Rajo guna, and the Tamo guna. There is delusion, dream, and imagination. The modifications of Prakriti from the ego down to the gross body and all the sense objects are unreal. Because consciousness alone is real, consciousness is illumining the intellect, and the intellect projects all these things like the sense organs, the sense objects, the body, the mind, and all the qualities, and all these shine with the light of consciousness projected through the intellect. And so when the intellect itself is only a projection of consciousness, everything else that is projected by the intellect is unreal, and consciousness alone is real. So what is the unreality? The unreality is indeed due to their being subject to change every moment, and the Atman never changes. The consciousness is changeless, but all this, what is unreal and what is real? Real is that which doesn't change at any period of time. Unreal is that which is subject to change at some period of time, either during the day or at night or in any occasion or in a lifetime. Whatever is subject to change is unreal. Whatever that doesn't change is real. What doesn't change? Consciousness that illuminates all the thoughts in the intellect is changeless, and all the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that are all subject to change from moment to moment are unreal. And kadapi na anyatha. All this is a fact of life. This is a fact of existence, that consciousness is real and everything else is unreal. It cannot change at any point of time. So when we are aware of this, it is very easy to become aware of that consciousness become aware of reality, and know the difference between what is real and what is unreal. नित्याद्वयाखण्ड चिदेकरूपः बुद्ध्यादिसाक्षी सदसद्विलक्षणः अहं पदप्रत्यय लक्षितार्थः प्रत्यक्ष परात्मा. That self, the I, the supreme, Para-Atma, what is it? It is Nitya. It is eternal. It has always been there. It is always there right now. It will always be there in future. Advaya. There is no different I in the past, different I in the present, different I in the future. It is the same. Akhanda. It is not having any parts. It is not an object like this piece of paper or this fruit or this water bottle or this magazine. It is not different. It is the same. Akhanda, Chitta. It is consciousness. It is that light of awareness which throws its light on this thought of it's a magazine article or this is a piece of paper. That light of consciousness which makes me aware that this is an apple thought or a water bottle thought or a book thought. It makes me aware. It is Eka Rupaha. That consciousness is only one. It is not differing when this apple consciousness is different, not different from water bottle consciousness or the paper consciousness or the clock consciousness. It's the same. The object may be different, but the consciousness is one. What is this consciousness? What is the work of this consciousness? Buddhi Adi Sakshi. This consciousness is aware of the Buddhi, the intellect. Adi means etc., etc. Everything followed by the intellect. Intellect, the mind, the sense objects, the sense organs, the body, and all the objects of this world. Sakshi. Sakshat ikshate. It looks directly at everything. Sat asat vilakshanaha. This consciousness is different from what is manifest and what is unmanifest. What is very temporary and what is somewhat temporary and permanent. Somewhat permanent. It is supremely permanent. It does not. It goes beyond what is temporary and what is permanent also. It is the observer of what is temporary and permanent. Sat asat vilakshanaha. It is different from what is reality, what is experienced as sat. Sat means a gross. Asat means all the thought forms and the feelings that we experience. It is the observer of the thoughts and feelings, the breath and the emotions, and it is observer of the physical body also, and the sense objects. Aham pada pratyaya lakshita arthaha. This self, this I, this consciousness, the dear one that resides in all of us, takes care of us, provides all the nourishment, provides all the support that we need in our life at all periods of time without a break. That aham, how is it pointed out? Aham pada, it is pointed out by the word I. Lakshita arthaha. It is pointed out when I say I, or when you say I, when I point out to you and you say I to yourself, that the meaning of that word I, when we say I, what is that meaning? That meaning is the self. Arthaha. Pratyak, and it is within me. That I is experienced within me. And what is the nature of this I? Sada ananda ghanaha. Always experiencing joy, experiencing bliss at all times. At no time is this I miserable. This I is the experience of joy at all times. Para Atma. This I is that supreme self which knows no sorrow. It is always blissful. So what to do when I am assailed with sorrow? Know the I, be with the I, identify with the I, then you will never experience sorrow at any point of time. Itham vipaschit sadasad nischitya tattvam nijabodha drishyam jnatva swamatmanam akhanda bodham tebhyo vimuktah swayameva shamyati. The person attains peace by himself. How? Itham vipaschit. Vipaschit means the one who has known this truth, the one who has heard this truth, the one who has studied this truth, the one who has contemplated on this truth, the one who has meditated upon this truth. Sadasat vibhajya. After distinguishing between what is sat, what is the truth, and what is asat, what is untruth, nischitya tattvam, ascertaining the truth. It is very important. In our life, whatever we get is actually what we have ascertained unconsciously. But when we consciously assert something, we will see the process by which we are getting what we assert. So when we ascertain the truth, instead of ascertaining any object in this world, which will give me joy for a period of time and later push me into sorrow by one means or the other, it is better to ascertain that which will always keep me in joy. Nischitya tattvam, ascertain that truth. Nijabodha drishtya, how do I ascertain it? By looking into that truth with the true eye of wisdom, the true eye of knowledge, what the Upanishads say, what the Shastras say, what the Bhagavad Gita says, having listened to all that and then contemplated on that, meditate upon that, nishchitya, nijabodha drishtya, experiencing that within me, jnatva swam atmanam, I get to know that self which is none other than I, myself. And what is that I? Akhanda bodham. That knowledge of I has always been there with us. We may not, as a baby, have known about it as a baby. As a small child of 1.5 years upwards, we start to know little by little. We say, I am. Or that the baby will say, Papa is coming, Papa is going. It is Papa's fruit. It is Papa's doll. It will start saying, referring to the I. And then slowly when the child goes to school, the name is given and the baby learns to say the name, Gayatri or Krishna or Tommy or Jimmy or whatever it is. The baby starts identifying itself with that name. And then as we grow, we start identifying with us with our qualities. I am great. I am blessed. I am happy. I am brilliant. I am sorry. I am sad. So many emotions, so many thought forms, and so many qualities of the intellect, whether it's dull or bright, we identify. But Nijabodha means the real I. What is that real I? The one who sees all this, the one who sees the baby, the one who sees the child, the one who sees the youth, the one who sees the married person, the one who sees the one becoming old. That is the real I. Nijabodham tebhyaha vimuktaha swayameva. He becomes free of what? Itham vipaschit sadasat vibhajya. He becomes free of what is sat, what is existing and what is non-existing, what is somewhat permanent and what is completely impermanent. He becomes free of all that because he knows the truth, the reality which is different from this self and not self. And so what are the three things that we need to do? The veiling and projection goes away. The veiling is the not self, is the self is veiled. We don't see the self. Like we don't see the rope. We don't have knowledge of the rope. We don't have knowledge of the self. Ignorance is the first thing. And then projection of the snake is the second thing. We see the not self, the body, mind and intellect, we see, we experience. And the third thing is, we suffer due to the presence of the body, mind, and intellect. So the three things that we need to do in life is through intelligent discrimination. Guruji, Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmaya says, intelligent discrimination or distinguishing between what is a self and what is not self is the first thing that needs to be done by the intellect. Who am I and what is not I? The two needs to be distinguished. And then detach from what is not I. In our day-to-day life, how do we go through this? When I'm having an emotion, maybe an emotion of anger, because I talk angrily to somebody, that anger arises in me. And when I am studying Vedanta about what is self and what is not self, immediately I watch. I am observing anger rising in me. Anger thought. The anger feeling is covered by anger thought. I experience this anger thought arising in me. I am different from the anger thought. I am the observer. The anger thought is the observed. I am conscious. I am aware. I don't change. The anger thought is not conscious. The anger thought is not aware of me. The anger thought cannot see me. The anger thought changes to happiness thought sometime later. The anger thought does not persist. It changes. I am living. The anger thought is non-living. It is only borrowing life from me. I see this different, so I am different. The thought is different. And then that is the first thing. Difference between I and the anger thought. Second is detach from the anger thought. Detach my concentration, my focus from the anger thought and attach to the I thought, the self thought. Contemplate on the verses of Nantav pragyam na bahish pragyam no bhayatah pragyam na pragyam na prajnana ghanam na pragyam avyaktam achintyam avyapadeshyam agrahyam alakshanam achintyam avyapadeshyam ekatma pratyayasaram prapanchopashamam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtham manyante sa atma sa vigneyah. Withdraw from the anger thought and focus my attention on the I thought. Who am I? Where am I? What am I? What is my nature? Then the anger thought completely goes away. And after the anger thought will go away, abide in that I thought at all times. So these are the three things that we need to do in our life using our intellect. Using our intellect, distinguish between who am I and what is not I. Withdraw from what is not I. Be with the I at all times. Very, very simple. Everything is in this first one. Distinguish between who am I and what is not I. The not I, you just avoid it in your life. Avoid it means withdraw from it. Let it be, but you don't focus your attention on that. Not I. And third, focus your attention on the I, the self. And then the self, which is always in a realized state, we abide in that state at all times. So we experience joy, we experience happiness, we are not assailed by sorrow, whatever the condition may be in life, whatever the situation may be for us or members of our family, members of our community and society. This is the way we can help society. It is not that so many people are suffering. There is war everywhere. And you tell me to abide in the self and revel in the self. No, when I abide in the self, when I revel in the self, I'm able to provide immediate joy, immediate happiness to the people around me. I'm able to guide them on the right lines, on the right path of action. Then I'm able to make them avoid the pitfalls in life because of which they landed up in such a soup, and then I'm able to be a blessing for society because of the condition of my mind, the state of my mind, which is in tune with the self, abiding in the self at all times. So we will look into the verses 354 to 372, the nature of samadhi, the nature of absorption of mind tomorrow, and the coming days, next 4 days up to Friday. ओम सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शांतिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मंगलं भवतु, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसोर्मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। हर नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम।